Bob Anderson, Scaling Leadership, Building Organizational Capability and Capacity to Create Outcomes That Matter Most. In an increasingly fast-paced and uncertain world, the secret to business success lies in the ability to scale leadership. The book, Scaling Leadership, by Bob Anderson explores this critical concept and delves into the journey leaders must embark on to build organizational capacity and capability that align with their desired outcomes. As you read on, you will discover how to transition from reactive to creative and ultimately integral leadership, using self-evaluation tools, developing leadership teams, and building leadership systems.
The imperative of growth. Businesses must grow and scale to survive, much like a giant locust tree that sheds millions of tiny seeds, each capable of producing more trees. Growth solves problems but also brings new challenges. Business growth involves securing financing, recruiting employees, and scaling up with the growth of the organization for sustainable success. Scaling up leadership. To achieve sustainable business growth, scaling up corporate leadership is crucial. Leaders must focus on developing new leaders with qualities such as innovation, adaptability, sustainability, agility, and engagement. The best leaders openly learn from others and exercise genuine leadership of self. However, this requires training and development. Leaders that are effective in managing a company with $30 million in annual revenue may not have the necessary skills to lead a company with $100 million in annual revenue. By prioritizing leadership scaling, businesses can achieve manageable growth and enlightened leadership. Noble leadership journey. The path to noble leadership involves becoming a better person and leader through a spiritual boot camp. This journey fosters humility and a willingness to ask for help. The stakes are high for leaders who undertake this journey. Scaling up leadership abilities. To become a better leader and drive your firm's success, focus on yourself, develop your team as a group of leaders, and institutionalize a developmental agenda. In their book Immunity to Change, Keegan and Leahy advise using a self-evaluation tool to identify one key change that unlocks leadership potential. Develop a development agenda for your team members, evaluating both individual and group effectiveness. Finally, create a developmental organization by institutionalizing this agenda long-term. By following these 3 steps, you can effectively scale up your leadership abilities and better support your organization. Full spectrum leadership. The full spectrum of leadership comprises 3 levels: reactive, creative, and integral. The ideal leader advances from the reactive to the creative level, and then to the inspired integral level. In the reactive level, leaders are always defensive, preferring hierarchical and bureaucratic environments, micromanaging their team, and being stifled to creativity. In the creative level, leaders are imaginative and open-minded, focusing on achieving significant goals, nurturing creativity, and leading agile and innovative firms. The integral level is occupied by effective, mature, wise visionaries, representing 5% of current leaders who understand that they can always improve and embrace lofty motivations. The book emphasizes that leadership is a collective effort that requires transparency and vulnerability among team members at every level of the organization. The future of integral leadership. Integral leaders prioritize the well-being of their organizations and the people they lead. Reflectiveness is a core characteristic of this leadership style, as it enhances self-awareness, intentionality, and perspective-taking. Effective communication is another essential feature of integral leaders, who prioritize team building and empower their employees. This approach to leadership optimizes organizational growth, employee satisfaction, and positive impact. Scaling leadership. Effective leaders must embrace creative thinking, build deep relationships, foster a radically human environment, develop system awareness, focus on purposeful achievement, and manage generative tension to scale up their abilities. Leadership is a crucial facet of a successful business and one that requires constant development. In their book, Scaling Leadership, Robert J. Anderson and William A. Adams explore the essential skills that transformative leaders need to cultivate. Moving beyond traditional leadership styles, the authors argue that effective leaders must embrace creative thinking, build deep relationships, foster a radically human environment, develop system awareness, focus on purposeful achievement, and manage generative tension. Research shows that reactive leadership is detrimental to a company's growth. Instead, creative leadership is required to inspire those around you and promote an open, honest, authentic, optimistic, generative, and innovative culture. Achieving deep relationships with the people you lead is also vital. Leaders who exemplify love for their employees motivate them to reach their full potential, which strengthens the overall team. The best leaders display humility, vulnerability, and courage, understanding that disruption and significant change begins with them. They embrace learning over knowing and empowering over controlling, continuously looking for ways to improve themselves and their organizations. Effective leaders also develop systems awareness, recognizing that the way they design and organize their companies determines their future success. They rely on and leverage feedback, developing robust feedback systems to grow their organizations. Furthermore, inspiring leaders motivate their people to strive for a higher purpose, channeling collective hopes and dreams to accomplish lofty goals. Purposefulness is the beating heart of creative leadership. Finally, great leaders manage generative tension by working to bridge gaps between employees' aspirations and the reality of their organizational situation. In conclusion, Anderson and Adams make a compelling case for what it takes to be a transformative leader. Effective leaders must embrace creative thinking, build deep relationships, foster a radically human environment, develop system awareness, focus on purposeful achievement, and manage generative tension to scale up their abilities. Universal Model of Leadership. The Leadership Circle Profile Self-Assessment, LCP, based on the Universal Model of Leadership, provides feedback on a leader's effectiveness and analyzes their approach to leadership. LCP encapsulates 360-degree feedback results and allows for quantitative and qualitative assessment of individual and collective leadership. Analysts use a circle to visually depict LCP results, with the upper hemisphere focusing on positive leadership skills and the outer ring on specific competencies. The lower hemisphere identifies reactive tendencies limiting a leader's effectiveness. Having profiles for each leader and team member gives a collective leadership profile. Feedback is a critical element of leadership. Sound leadership feedback. Leaders who seek comprehensive feedback from their team can effectively scale their quality leadership. Feedback is the key to energizing leadership development, as it reveals both positive and negative traits. Operating in a feedback-rich environment, leaders should take advantage of this by simply asking questions and actively listening to responses. While it can be tough, objective feedback is necessary for growth and improvement. Mastering the VUCA world. According to futurist Bob Johansen, modern business leaders operate under a VUCA climate that is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. A disruptive change is further complicating things, making it hard to maintain standard business operations. Johansen warns that the situation will only get worse. The sheer complexity of the situation is often overwhelming, leading to ineffective leadership and disastrous consequences for companies. To stay ahead, leaders must scale up and master the VUCA world, or risk being left behind.
By the end of Scaling Leadership, you will be well equipped to understand the value of scaling leadership and its impact on business growth. As you grow, consider embracing creative and integral leadership styles that promote innovation, adaptability, and sustainability. Foster deep relationships and a collective sense of purpose within your organization, while staying keenly aware of the feedback systems in place. In mastering these elements, you will be better prepared to thrive in the VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity world of modern business and drive your organization towards a brighter future.